good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever part of the day this video chooses to reach you. Hope you're feeling fine. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling blessed. I hope you're feeling down. I hope you realize that you are blessed. All right, let's talk about Florida's Senate seat that's up for grabs this year in this 2024 election. Now, we have our Florida primary that's coming up in August on August 20th, and then you have the general election later on. What's going to be on the ballot in your primary election is a choice between the GOP or the Republican candidates for U.S. Senate or the Democratic candidates for U.S. Senate. Now, on the GOP side or the Republican side, you hear me say GOP a lot. GOP, Republican, the terms are interchangeable. They both mean the same, refers to the same group of people. So if you ever hear me just say talk about GOP or Republicans, know that I'm talking about the same exact group of people. Now, on the GOP side, they have Rick Scott, former governor of Florida from 2011 until 2019. He's been our state senator, our current, U.S. state senator from 2019 until present. He's running for re-election. Now, before he can just say he wants to, ask for your vote, he has to go up against the other Republicans in the race. The other Republicans in the race are John Campbell, who is a Florida-born conservative that is a Disney actor, and yeah, no, like a Disney actor, like the guys that you will see dancing in the middle of the street when you go to Disney World. Yeah, he's one of them. Not to say he can't do a good job at it, but if that's what the GOP, the Republicans, want to put up there against Rick Scott, I don't know. Also on the GOP side, we have Keith Gross, who is a Florida-born U.S. Army Guardsman for Panama City. He's a businessman and also an attorney. The GOP side, I'll just say they got some characters on there. Really, literally some characters. A Disney character going up against Rick Scott and Keith Gross, who to say is a little bit extreme is light. So I'll just leave it at that. So that's what you have on the GOP or the Republican side: Rick Scott, John Columbus, or Keith Gross. Now on the Democratic side, you have a grab bag of candidates that some of whom have political experience, some of whom are political newcomers. Starting out that field, we have Stanley Campbell, who is from FAMU. Do I got to say anything else? He's a Navy man. He's a NASA man, been on NASA's advisory council, CEO of his own personal companies, member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity for those of you that, that's important too. Be honest with you, Stanley Campbell is endorsed by almost every major Democrat and black organization in the state of Florida for this U.S. Senate seat. So, Stanley Campbell, this one's for you. But going up against Stanley Campbell for the Democratic nod, we also have Rod Joseph, who's a Haitian-born Purple Heart recipient from the Army. No real political experience to speak of, but he's thoroughly educated by the U.S. Army. What up, Zoe? We have Debbie McCursall Powell, who is a former USF House of Representatives rep from District 26, I believe, 25, 26, one of them. She was unseated by Carlos Jimenez in 2021. The funny thing about Debbie McCursall Powell is she's raised more money than any other candidate in this U.S. Senate race. The Democratic machine is behind her. They're funding this whole operation to the tune of $12 million. And if you know anything about Rick Scott, to hear somebody's put more money into the race than Rick Scott is, that's wild. So that's Debbie McCursall Powell, and then we also have Brian Rush, who's also a former U.S. House of Representative member, but he was elected at the age of 28. He's not 28 anymore, but he's in the race. Really, this Democratic race, it really boils down between two people: Debbie McCursall Powell and Stanley Campbell. My vote is for Stanley Campbell. That's why I put my vote behind. That's why I'm planning to put my vote behind, both in the primary and the general elections. Excuse me, because I am a registered Democrat in the state of Florida, because Florida is a closed primary state. So if you are no party affiliation or an independent voter, unfortunately, you get left out of many of the Florida races that you will see or hear about on your Florida primary ballots. On the GOP side, I really think Rick Scott's going to run away with this. But in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to come to you guys and give you the choices for your U.S. Senate seats in the state of Florida. There are some other races that you will see Senate associated with, but that's for your smaller districts in Florida. This is for the big U.S. Senate seat that goes to Washington D.C. and represents us. All right, so peace.